I didn't think we'd be talking about Unchained yet again, but here we are. Well, it did it again. It topped another event. So, for those of you that love this deck and swear by Unchained, and you're like, yeah, this is one of the coolest decks I've got the chance to play, there are a lot of different variations and things that I've seen players do to adapt the strategy for the current format. And this is really no, like, upset, or, yeah, this is no, different than most part. So this list looks really weird to me on paper, but it's mainly because it's a going second build. That's why we like cut back on things like whaling and whatnot. That way we can go second. Also, building the Kaiju engine into the main deck to allow us to further, do what we want to do. So we have one copy of Abominable Unchained Soul himself. And then we're playing one copy of the Dark Spirit of Banishment. So if your opponent's monster attacks at the start of damage step, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Target one level 8 Fiend monster in your graveyard. Oh, well, level 8 Fiend, level 8 Fiend. And then special summon it, but its effects are negated. And if you do, change that target to it and before damage calculation. If a level 8 Fiend monsters is sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you get to add this card back to your hand. And you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So literally, you have this, and then you have the Dark Spirit of Malice. So when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to target one level 8 Fiend in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. And if a level 8 Fiend monsters is sent to the graveyard, while this card is in your graveyard, you can recur this back to your hand. So this literally allows you to, once again, you have one that redirects an attack, and then you have one that lets you revive from the graveyard as well. Like, both of these cards are extremely good for the strategy that these decks were wanting to put up. And I do think that the Dark Spirits, they're fantastic additions to this deck. I don't think players really think about them all that much, but they're definitely here. We have one Gamma Steel, one copy of Jizukuru, one Radion, two copies of the Unchained Soul of Disaster, triple copies of Aruha, triple copies of Rakia, and we have triple copies of Sarama. Sarama is the one that you can target one Unchained card in your graveyard except for Sarama, set it to your field, and then destroy one card you control. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect except for himself, or by battle, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your hand or deck except for Sarama. And then you can only use each effect to him once per turn. This card is fantastic for this deck. And we have triple copies of Prison, either being able to search or special. We have one Foolish Burial, one Kaiju Slumber. Then we have one Waterfront. Now this is interesting because, one, you get the ability to tutor for the Kaijus. You can basically drop a fat Gamma Steel on the field for negates, which is actually really cute. At the end of your combo, I think you can end on, what is it, Abomination plus Gamma Steel? Just like for disruptions and negations on the opponent, and your opponent's just like, but what do? We have one Lightning Storm, one Monster Reborn, one Avarice, one Terraforming, one Wailing, and one copy of the World Legacy Succession. Traps, we have triple Abominable Chamber, two copies of Escape, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Infinite Impermanence. Wrapping up the main deck here. Down here in the extra deck, we have triple copies of Unchained Soul of Rage, two copies of Unchained Soul of Anguish, one copy of Abomination, one Trisbania, one Bomber Dragon, one Avermax, one Unicorn, one Phoenix, one Griffin, one Cerberus, one IP, and one Boral Sword. So deck here we have two Ash Blossom, one Needy Crow, one Droll Knockbird, two Nibiru, two Cosmic Cyclone, two Dark Lord No More, two Twin Twister, one D-Bearer, one Impure Order, and one Macro Cosmo, wrapping up a very, very interesting Unchained list for everybody. So I know for the small community of players that enjoy these, every time I see these, I'm just like, oh, we got to put these up because players want to mess around with these ideas. And once again, another fantastic list nonetheless. Definitely more teched out than what I'm used to seeing, really. I think that's probably the thing that catches my attention the most here, is just how teched out this is. Like, you have so many cool cards here for your matchups that it's just absurd. Now, next up, we actually have a Dark Magician list. This did well out of its OTS championship this weekend, and you're probably like, but Robbie doesn't even have a complete extra deck and main deck. Like, why are you showing us this? Well, because it's Dark Magician. Alright. Dark Magician decks are hard to come by. Sam was the last one that actually did something with this deck, like, regionally. I think he made, what, top 48 with it? Maybe it was top 16. So, we have triple copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl. We have 2 copies of Astral Blossom and Joy Spring. 1 DD Crow. 2 copies of Effect Veiler. 2 copies of the Magician of Dark Illusions. Triple copies of Magician's Rod. 1 copy of the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. And triple copies of Dark Magician. Then we have 2 copies of Called by the Grave, 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack, triple copies of Dark Magic Circle, 1 Illusion Magic, 1 Monster Reborn, 2 Soul Servant, 2 Spellbook of Knowledge, and then we have 2 copies of Eye of Timaeus. Now, I know a lot of people look at Timaeus and they're like, well, I really don't want to play this deck in Dark Magician, because you can't actually tutor for this in any of the support whatsoever. And that's like my biggest turnoff with this card, is the way that it's worded and the way that it doesn't interact with Dark Magician support like it should. You're basically just playing a brick fusion card. And while that works for some players, other players just look at this card and they're like, why would I dedicate the resource to it? But it is something that if you are messing around with this deck, just understand that it does not work the same way with a lot of the Dark Magician support, because of the use of Dark Magician here. We have 1 Upstart Goblin, triple copies of Eternal Soul, triple copies of Magician Navigation, and 2 copies of Solemn Strike. Down here in the extra deck, we have 4 cards you can fill in however you wish. We have 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, 1 Big Eye, 1 Ebon Illusion Magician, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Violet Chimera, 1 Dragostapelia, 1 Mud Dragon, and 1 copy of the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Side deck here we have 1 DD Crow, triple Denko Sekka, 1 Pancratops, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Super Polymerization, 2 System Down, 2 Dimensional Barrier, and 1 Red Reboot with 1 extra side fill-in card for however you want. So this made, what was it, top 4 out of its OTS Championship. I still have a bunch of OTS Championship deck list to fill in before we start heading on into Needle Fiber format here. But definitely some interesting little decks. And then, last but not least, we have another Dragon Maid list. Now, you guys saw the first Dragon Maid list that we showed that was actually playing Rocket Link Engine with it. Actually, the Dragon Maid link in that deck was so much, like, the Dragon Maid package was small. This one expands it out more than just, standard kitchen plus parlor and shenanigans like that. So, I believe this got top 16 out of its regional. So, we have 1 copy of Goliath, because making it so neither player can special summon from the extra deck, pretty good. We have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. We have 1 copy of Ernest for the discard special. We have 1 copy of Lepore for the negate. We have 1 Phalanx, 1 copy of Galactic Spiral Dragon, triple copies of the Kitchen Dragon Maid, triple copies of Nurse Dragon Maid, and triple copies of Parlor Dragon Maid. Now remember, you don't want to breach out too heavy on your fat dragons. They are a bit of a brick at times, but these all do have the ability to tutor into LP and Pisty for what we need for the deck. We have 1 Darkness Metal Dragon, 1 copy of Rocket Tracer, 1 Silver Rocket, and 1 copy of Tempest, Dragon Ruler of the Storms. We have triple copies of Called by the Grave, 1 Dragon Ravine, 2 Dragon Shrine, 1 copy of our Fusion Spell, 2 Ripple copies of Hospitality. We have 1 copy of the Divine Lance, so you can only equip this card to Dragoonity monster. It gains attack equal to its level times 100, and it's unaffected by trap effects. During your main phase, you can equip 1 Dragoonity type tuner monster from your deck to it. So basically, you can just smash on into Romulus with this and then get your free equip off, which will bring out the Phalanx for free. We have 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Monster Reborn, triple copies of Quick Launch, and triple copies of the World Legacy Guard Dragon, because this is still one of the best dang cards that we've got going on for this deck. And in the next deck, we have 1 copy of Triple Burst Dragon, 1 Striker Dragon, 1 copy of Saruja, 1 copy of the Quad Boral Dragon, 2 copies of the Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, 1 Pisty and 1 LB, 1 copy of Romulus, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Borreload, 1 Hope Harbinger, 1 Borreload Savage Dragon, and 2 copies of the House Dragon Maid. Side deck here we have triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, triple copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Dark Will and No More, triple copies of Twin Twisters, and triple copies of Evenly Matched, wrapping up, well, another edition of interesting deck profiles we've seen coming out of OTS Championship events and other events. So what do you guys think about these decks? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And well, guys, I'll catch you on the flip side. Take care, stay safe out there, and peace out, audience. The ride never truly ends. Thank you, patrons, for helping support the channel. Without you guys, I don't know if I'd still be doing this. And for those of you that like Cardfight Vanguard, FanCool40 is here for all your content needs. And those of you asking if I sell cards, mcoolgames.com for all your trading card game needs. Check the description for more interesting info. Thanks for watching, guys.